Every year, I keep a list of the things that I've learned throughout the year. This is my list for 2023. Koala fingerprints are so near identical to human fingerprints that they can interfere with criminal investigations. The mortality rate from heart attacks goes up 15 to 20% on the days of marathons. The US military uses dolphins and seals to protect the nuclear stockpile. The first revolution of 1848, the Sicilian Revolution, began with a single person putting up flyers for a revolutionary committee that didn't exist. Bees play. In 1980, 63% of 25-year-olds were married. The natural rate of background radiation for the U.S. Capitol is above the acceptable threshold for a nuclear power plant. Only one in the 270 jobs in the 1950 census has been entirely eliminated: the elevator operator. Labeling sesame as an allergen has increased rather than decreased its usage in food products. The second leading market for Guinness beer is Nigeria. The first is the UK. Ireland comes in third. More than half of U.S. military enlistees have a family member with military service. Every thoroughbred horse alive today is descended from one of 3 stallions. The amount of time an average college-educated mother spends with her children has doubled since 1965. The most common noun in the English language is time. The cinnamon you use is a cheap substitute. As a share of the occupation, there are twice as many female fighter pilots as there are male kindergarten teachers. More than 5 million children were homeschooled in the U.S. in 2021, up from just 13,000 in 1973. Randomly buying Lego sets provides better returns than most VC firms. The current mortality rate for the opioid crisis in the US and Canada is worse than the peak of the HIV/AIDS epidemic. The dodo was a species of pigeon. Squash, zucchini, cucumbers, and watermelons are all from the same plant family. How cocoa melon gets made. A child sits in front of a TV watching an episode. An adult stands nearby doing household tasks. If the child's attention drifts from the show at any point, they go back and amp up the interestingness. American cheese was invented in Switzerland. A brand new ladder fire truck costs just under $1.5 million. Most of the placebo effect is just reversion to the mean. The largest landholder in the world is Charles III, King of England. Square or cube watermelons are a thing. Since 2012, 130,000 Indians have gained access to electricity every single day. Obesity rates in the United States haven't gone down 2 years in a row in the past 50 years. Robert Oppenheimer learned Dutch in just 6 weeks. The original meaning of the word to filibuster was to lead an unauthorized military expedition in a foreign country. 1 million more horses served in World War II than in World War I. Experiencing abusive leadership from a coach at any point in their career shifts the trajectory of an NBA player permanently downward. There are more pet dogs than children living in the United States. The shipping industry generated as much profit between 2020 and 2022 as it had in the previous 6 decades. HIV cases in Sydney, Australia are down 88% to just 11 cases per year. Switzerland, which is landlocked, has 14 ocean-going vessels in its navy. The only accounts we have of a crucifixion performed by the Romans are in the 4 Gospels. Almost all truffle flavoring is fake. If grade inflation at Harvard continues at its current pace, the average student in 2028 will have a GPA higher than 4.0. The typical couple takes 3.25 years to go from meeting to engagement. Orthodox Jews account for just 0.2% of the US population, but 18% of altruistic kidney donations. China's population is expected to decline by 46% by 2100. Venetian glass from the 15th century has been found as far away as Alaska. 100% of civilian deaths on the U.S. mainland during World War II came from balloon attacks. The chimp pig hypothesis is a thing. Maybe not true, but definitely interesting. Newborn babies are slightly more likely to be males than females. The 16 hottest days in global history were all recorded this summer. There was an American Winston Churchill, who was also a successful politician and author, and actually met the British Winston in 1900. Alexander Graham Bell and Elisha Gray both applied for the patent for the telephone on the same day. The total urban population in Europe didn't surpass the peak of the Roman Empire for 1600 years. Only one of Albert Einstein's papers went through peer review. So that's my list. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel and check out the blog post below. It's got links to citations for all this stuff.